here we are, driving across the United States again. You know, I got a phone with an empty gallery and about 2,600 miles in front of me. Connecticut. Everything there is just grr. So here I go, off to the west, to the desert, and it's my fourth time driving across the country, but it's my third time moving to Las Vegas. I moved there initially, I moved back to Las Vegas from Colorado once, and now I'm moving back there again from the East Coast. I'm in Poughkeepsie, chugging along, no traffic. Everyone's going at a nice brisk pace because it's not f***ing Connecticut. It's nice. I plugged in my navigation via cities. So I started with Scranton, Pennsylvania, and I'm on a nice diagonal trip down to Texas and then straight over. This way I avoid particular states that I don't want to drive through, like Ohio, Virginia, Colorado, and Utah. Why those states? Well, I'll tell you why, camera. Let's start with Ohio. Ohio sucks. The roads just suck. And they're narrow. There's too much construction. It's just congested. The people on the road are annoying, and it's just bad. A lot of potholes. Right? So lots of potholes. That's why Connecticut sucks. Now, what was the next one I said? Virginia. Right. So Virginia is like one of the worst states historically for getting any sort of traffic violation or citation. So I've heard. But I've heard from enough sources that I'm like, I'm not going to f*** with Virginia. Because I can just see driving through that state and some Peckerwood cop pulls me over and he's like, you know, he's got that whole "you're city boy" bullshit, even though I'm a fucking hillbilly. I could just see it going bad. You know, he's gonna, I see the Virginia police royally fucking me if they get the opportunity because I don't have my car registered, right? Where else did I say sucked? Colorado. Colorado doesn't suck. Colorado doesn't suck. I like Colorado, but I don't want to drive through Colorado, especially in December, because it's snowy as shit there. It's a tundra, and the roads leading to Denver and leaving Denver, which are the roads I would have to take to get to Vegas, are atrocious. Especially leaving Denver, there's all these little windy roads coming down the mountain, and that's bad news in the snow. You don't want none of that. I've done that enough times. And then Utah. So Utah, beautiful state, don't get me wrong, but those highways. The last time I drove through Utah, I was going to Vegas from Connecticut in a pretty big RV, and boy, the roads, it'll be like an open highway, and then all of a sudden you're in a tight little windy canyon with little to no clearance on each side of your vehicle. And when you're in a very wide, basically a house on wheels, that is an 8-hour panic attack. So, no thanks. The other state I would avoid, which it wouldn't be on the way anyway, is Wyoming. I decided to take Wyoming on that same trip instead of going through Colorado. I went over Denver to Wyoming. Really bad idea, especially because it was... What part of the year was it? It wasn't winter, I think it was actually spring. But Wyoming, it fucking snowed. And that was my bad. I just wanted to see Wyoming. I'd never been there before. And I didn't really get to see much because it was just an absolute blizzard the whole way there. A lot of mountains, which I, should have expected. But whatever, fuck you. I wanted to see Wyoming, and I did, kinda. So I don't need to do that ever again, at least not while I'm driving. Much more comfortable car this time. Much easier drive, much faster, better gas mileage. So I expect this trip to go smoothly. On paper, because it's me, I know something weird will fucking happen. But at least I got a camera and a gun, right? So there's that. Road trip day 2. I'm in Kentucky. And now I'm making my way towards Missouri. It's definitely the part of the drive where it's just so boring. But I got YouTube and shit, so I don't know. When you're in it, it goes by a lot faster than you think. Like 8 hours goes by like that, at least for me. I'm a professional road tripper. This is an iced Americano with salted cream cold foam on top of it. Holy balls, it's good. It's definitely diabetes in a cup, but I haven't eaten yet today, so it's fine. Whatever, sugar. I'm gonna burn it off by sitting here talking to myself. I find it notable how much chemicals can affect my mood. Because my plan to sleep in the back of the car had failed, it leads me to believe, at least in the moment when I had a substantial lack of sleep, that every other decision I've ever made in my life or endeavor is a failure. Because that's how my brain works. And then hold on, I can't think with this fucking behind me tailgating me, and I don't want to shoot at him because I'll go to prison. So let me speed a whole lot and then move the fuck over. Anyway, so I'm feeling this way until I get this coffee. And I can feel the second the caffeine kicks in, because all of a sudden things are looking up. And not just my immediate mood, but my life. All of a sudden I'm like, oh yeah, things are gonna work out. Which is probably an indicator that I'm bipolar or something fucked up like that. But whatever. So yeah, chemicals. I don't like driving during the day. Okay, here's the benefits and disadvantages of driving during the day versus the night, right? So during the day, obviously more scenic if you're into that. I'm not a big fan of the sun, so not my favorite. Plus, there's too many humans everywhere. Just humans everywhere. And you just can't win. Now, driving during the night, okay, less visibility. Not necessarily for me, because I have excellent night vision and good headlights. But the roads are so empty, you go. You can just cruise control. For the most part, people aren't up your ass or whatever that they do. So I much prefer it. Speaking of which, West Virginia at night, Super creepy. Love it. 5 stars. Very fun. And like everywhere I pulled over felt like the beginning of a horror movie. So that was cool. Kentucky, kind of what I expected Kentucky to be. Just like, you know, Kentucky's not even that southern, like geography-wise, but culture-wise, oh yeah. I feel like there's a banjo player on every street corner. I'm hoping today is going to be my cover the most ground day. I think I'm passing through Louisville right now. My next stop is Tulsa, Oklahoma. So I think I can definitely get there by tonight, but if I was really a man, I would try and get to Texas by tonight. The first time I did this drive, I drove from Virginia straight through to New Mexico. I was driving for like 23 hours straight, and my friends that were in the car with me finally made me pull over to sleep because I think I was hallucinating. So if I could plan everything accordingly, I'll have to figure it out when I get closer because I don't know what my sleep schedule is yet. I would like to be driving through Arizona as the sun's coming up. That would be ideal because I think that would look very nice. And then that would put me in Vegas during the daytime so I could actually randomly stop by some people's houses and be like, hey, I live here now. I think I'm officially halfway between Connecticut and Las Vegas. Let's find out. How long did it take me to drive from here to Las Vegas?
With light traffic, it will take you 22 hours and 38 minutes to drive to Las Vegas.
22 hours, so I'm a little less than halfway. My favorite time of day. Dusky. St. Louis sucks. I had to go into the city and drive through the city to get back on a different highway. That sucked. It really wasn't that bad, but when you're 21-ish hours into driving on empty highways, and then you have to exit into a city, it's a little jarring. It's a little abrasive. Lots of c***s. Lots of c***s. Like this c*** behind me in the Hummer. He might get brake checked in a minute. But I got a full tank of gas and a bag of beef jerky. I might get another coffee. I don't know. I think I'm gonna pee in this Gatorade bottle. That's my plan. When it gets a little darker, I don't want to sexually assault anybody. I'm going the speed limit. Love the West. Final day of driving. 10 hours away from Las Vegas. I'm in New Mexico. It's getting real now because I'm in the desert. Hell yeah. Look at all that space. So much room for nothing. So much room for cacti and tumbleweeds. This trip went by significantly easier than the last time. I think it's because I'm in my car and not a house on wheels. That made everything a lot easier. Towards the end of each day in the RV, my shoulder hurt because you have to keep that thing going straight, especially when it's windy. You gotta be on guard at all times because people will cut you off and fucking do stupid shit, and your reaction time is, you have less time to react, and because it takes so long for that thing to maneuver. But this, my car, is so easy. It's like I wasn't even driving the whole time, which is a little alarming, but I did it. Well, I still have 10 hours to go, so I could die between now and then. You never know what you're gonna get driving through the middle of the country. You could get a f***ing tornado. Tornadoes are scary. And if that does happen, whoever finds my phone, if you can get into it, clear my search history, and then take all these videos, well, not all of them, be discerning, and just post them on the internet so people can cry over me and be like, oh man, he was so hot, I never got naked with him. A few people won't be able to say that. I don't think they'll be crying. I'm so jazzed to be going back and like kind of hit the industry again, you know. I'm glad I went to the East Coast. I needed to reset. I needed to see my family, and there's a lot of other reasons that I don't want to talk about that I'm glad I was there at the time, but it never really felt like home. And it didn't take long before that feeling crept into the back of my head of like, you know what would be better? If you were home. And I ignored that feeling for a while because it's hard to admit that you need to make that life change again that quickly. And you know, it's like if you've ever been in a bad breakup, right before you decide to break up with the person, there's this daunting feeling of like, man, am I really gonna do this? Because I gotta start this whole process of the breakup. I gotta like work myself up to telling them, and then whatever comes after that, you know, it's like a lot of emotional weight to move. And it's the same thing with a physical move, especially across the country, because it's like all the emotional part of it, you gotta, and in my case it was like, I gotta say goodbye to family that I really haven't hung out with in 16 years that I've gotten to see. And then there's the physical side of like, okay, now I gotta get my shit across the country again, and I'm not gonna do it the same way I did last time, so like, how am I gonna do it? And yeah, it's a lot, but the hard part is over. Like all my furniture and shit is on the way in a moving pod, so the only thing left to do is move my shit out of the pod and into my new place. And that's not that bad. That's like a half a day's work. Set up my new studio and bedroom and making it like, a space to create both music and video, right? So I'm looking forward to that. So the hard part's over. I've got, 9 more hours of driving. I'm caffeinated. I gotta poop, but that's okay. Yeah. I just had a profound thought. When I'm driving, especially long distances, most people kind of clump together in little pods of cars, like they're whales in the ocean or birds in the sky. They like to be in this little pod of, we're all gonna go the same speed near each other. And if I drive if I pass somebody, they'll start driving at my speed, and they'll like try and clump pod onto me, which infuriates me. One, it's an irrational pet peeve of mine, or maybe rational. I don't really have a good sense of what's irrational and rational. But So that's what most people do. They like to like rely on their little driving community that they found on the highway to decide what speed they're going at. Not me. I have a speed I want to go, and it's separate pace from everyone else. I'm not affected by other people's speed. I want to go my speed all the time, whether that's faster, slower, whatever. I want to be solitary on the road. I don't want to be near you. I don't want to go your speed. I don't want to go your, I don't want to live your life. And this is a metaphor for my life. Contemplate this on the tree of woe. Remember in Super Mario World 3, the level with the sun that was trying to kill you, and it was like up in the corner of the level? Get the fuck out of here. Road rage caught live on camera. Wonderful. You guys, are you seeing that? That's f***ing tripping me out. What is that? There's a million eyes in the desert. Red eyes shining at me. I'm home.